Hello everyone, my name is Oleksii. I want to talk about some new model we have created for some time ago because we wanted to integrate front-end changes into Drupal in a native way, and that's what I will talk about. Basically, model is called component connector, and as we say, it's a native way of components integration. In this case, it's not a single directory components, it's something different, and I will explain later. A little bit of history. It will be kind of intro of some topics you face with every project, with every customer. So when a customer comes to you with such a project, he wants to get some design because he has a great designer which created some Figma design, and customer wants to get exactly what he saw on design, right? That's a pretty that's a story which happens with every project. If designer is so much cool, he will create a UI kit, and everyone will be happy with UI kit, but sometimes we may not have UI kit. That's a customer expectation. Customer expects that he will get exactly what designer draw. But also we have kind of developer expectation, because when you start a project, you want your project will be to be flexible, have a modular architecture, because you are a good developer. You are thinking about future, how you will support front end. From their side, they want to implement atomic design, because it's a modern technology, it's in the top, and they want to integrate storybook to show customer how components will look like. And finally, the bottleneck here is everyone is trying to minimize all that pre-processing, all that altering, because if you are starting with all that modification in real time when your page is rendered, cost of support may grow later, because you may just forget about this hook, so you need to add condition and it becomes hard-coded somehow. That's about cost of support. So what happening when project starts? So your team will come and start discussing of project and start building architecture. And if we go back, we see that we have some components, some pages, and you need to transform all this stuff into Drupal entities, right? Into fields, and also there is a front-ender which comes and say, okay, I have my own vision because I have implemented atoms, molecules, organisms, etc. And it's great if you don't have a fight. We had. Finally, let's imagine that you have agreed with all this configuration, you have created entities, fields, paragraphs, media, and that's not all story, because you have a lot of, you may have a custom entities which were developed by your backender, and finally you are delivering. And then during some test, customer come back with small feedbacks. Small feedbacks may look like this. Sorry, I should put this slide before. That's basically example of common feedbacks from customer. See, we have some web form or news preview. It's a simple entity. But sometimes you need to make title bigger, you need to, I don't know, you need to change style of some field which is rendered, or image style, etc. And it's always a challenge. Who must do this? Front-ender or back-ender? See, because if you are talking about just adding some CSS classes, see, back-ender will do it in a minute, front-ender will do it in a minute as well. But the point is, the main question is who must do that? Okay, here, how to map front-end components to existing same hooks today. That's what's happening today. All these sliders and all these images, they are from a real project. Yes, we had a big project and we didn't have a good front-end developer. I came to this project much later, and finally when I saw what I saw, it was like this. They were just create a lot of suggestions, and it works because it's Drupal say if you need to change some field, just create a suggestion and it works. Also, we have a lot of preprocess here. See, I could not put all code for this hundred of lines, maybe thousands, but still. Another option, which is for a more experienced developer, that's creating own theme hooks. When you are not satisfied what Drupal delivering and you don't want to go through preprocess or like a hacking, suggestions, etc., you may create your own hooks and implement your logic, right? That's a pretty obvious process. For our help, thanks for these guys, I love them. Really, I really recommend this module. You know UI patterns. If you don't know this module, just check it. It's really cool. It allows you to create kind of templates which can be mapped in Drupal UI and can be used for layouts, for field formatters, and many other things like views, displays, etc. So these modules give you a great opportunity to easily create new templates components and use it in Drupal UI with your mouse only. So which means that that's cool. Another cool thing is single directory components. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that, right? No? Okay. I will try to wake up you guys. Single directory components now are in core. I would say it's not so simple because it has a complex structure, but once you start to learn it in, I don't know, maybe days, maybe weeks, you will understand that that's kind of simple. YAML which describes props and fields, basically settings, etc., which can be exposed in your templates and can be used and so on. You can base your logic, etc. Okay. Yes, that's kind of Groundhog Day with all these fixes. We know about these modules, about single directory components and UI patterns. We use them a lot, but we still wanted to make something which will be more fast, I would say. See? And once again, it's not a competitor to previous modules. It's something which near. See? What is component connector? It's a Drupal module, yes, of course, which allow you to declare standalone components. What does it mean? I will explain just in a few slides. But it means that you may isolate your HTML twig, CSS, and JS, pretty similar to single directory components or UI patterns. Also, component connector, yes, you can manage component definition via YAML files. We just didn't want to create another bicycle because we have already. And also it has automatic library management. That's what's Drupal render pipeline in when you just install Drupal and use some contrib modules. In the beginning, we have hook theme. So everything starts with a hook theme. That's a very important thing, and you need to just remember that, because everything starts with a hook theme. And then we have a lot of preprocess, altering, or any other hooks. Like Facets provides its own hooks, Solar or any other contrib modules may provide own hooks. For example, UI patterns provides own alters as well. And finally, we come to template. we can use suggestions, and the question is how Storybook will be integrated, and will be Storybook integrated in your Drupal code? By the way, that's a good question, because front-enders create a Storybook, and Storybook usually can live by standalone, not in Drupal. Yes, I saw some modules, I tried them, which provide kind of Storybook integration, but it's an opposite way. It's from Drupal to Storybook. So that's the question. What component connector does, that's we have only one small YAML. Just take a look. It's only 1 or 2 lines here. And this YAML with your Twig, with your CSS, JS, as a libraries, are integrated in Drupal and becomes a hook theme. Real hook theme, which can be used later, which can replace existing Drupal core hook theme or contrib module hook theme, or even extend existing. And all that happens only with these 2 lines. That's how registry built. Sorry. You may interrupt me with a question if you want. Okay. So, when you flush at cache, Drupal starts to build same registry. Everything lives in same registry. So it's a big array which has all information about all themes, all basically what will be rendered. And when it builds, it collects information from hook theme, from modules, preprocessed from themes, and builds the all theme registry cache, this one. And when this registry is built, later, you will have all links, by the way, later. Drupal core goes through any possible preprocessed function and basically allow you to change. And after that, component connectors start to work, and it builds libraries, collects themes, scan suggestions, and register new layouts. Yes, with this module you can create hook themes, you can create even layouts and so on. So what's happening? Once registry is built and processed and it's finally ready to be used, see, component connector scans all possible YAML files and extend this registry. So we are changing it a bit. Yeah, I can understand it's not so much clear for now. Just give me a chance, guys. We have a few types of integration. It's a theme hook candidate, theme hook suggestion, layout, and finally custom theme hook. And let me show you how it works. When we are talking before about customer expectation, customer expect exactly what he saw in design. But I had a slide with a developer expectation, and developer expectation to have a clear project. Some developers create suggestion templates, and it works. But here we propose to do it in small directories, so which means you can isolate your component, and we are back to Storybook. You can create your Storybook with your folder you want to have, just put it into Drupal theme, run Storybook from Drupal theme folder, and use same files for Drupal render. That's the point. That's just an example. So the first one is theme hook candidate, which is pretty similar to suggestion template. We need to define YAML. Libraries, by the way, it's not needed here. You may skip it. The only thing you need to know is you need to use only 2 properties, hook theme and base hook. And take a look. We have a hook theme which is called input checkbox, and base hook is input. And pretty simple, I don't know, HTML with some data, and maybe CSS. What is happening? Drupal core has a hook theme substitution. So basically, when Drupal finds this sign how it's in English, I don't remember. Drupal core will try to scan if this hook, if such kind of sim hook is registered in sim registry. If this hook is registered, exists in sim registry, Drupal core render process will use these hooks. Otherwise, it will be a fallback to hook sim, which is called input. Okay? Is it clear? So, basically, as you may see here, see that the search over core. You have a lot of suggestions which comes from different places, like base block, I don't know, some field formatters, and so on and so on. So, which means if you want to override input, I don't know, input password. You know, every customer wants just a funny icon which will show you password, or some small JavaScript which will show a message or something like this, right? Or maybe even Ajax to be added to check something, I don't know. So you may easily create, similar to this one, to my checkbox, you may easily create my password ML, and put here just good items which is input password, and base hook will be input, and create your own HTML, include your JavaScript, CSS, etc. So once again, it will be automatically registered in Drupal registry, and it will be used by core. We're not talking about core contrib modules or preprocess or alterings. There is no alterings, there is no preprocesses, there is no nothing. It's real Drupal core and native render process. Okay? Yeah. Another headache is such elements like a pager, header, menu, and I'm pretty sure a customer come to you one day and say, okay, I have a big menu, I saw a contrib module which is called mega menu, and you are going crazy because you see thousands of lines of code which do strange things and so on. Front-enders goes crazy as well because he need to understand what this module does and so on. But once again, you may easily replace with suggestion, you may easily replace base hook, pager. So if you will not provide hook sim in YAML, but provide only base hook, pager, when component connector scan your YAML, in same registry, core hook pager will be replaced by your own. Okay? Is it clear? Just a replace of one hook by another. And finally, layout. That's my favorite thing, and not only my favorite thing, but the guy who helped me with this module is a front-ender guy, and he likes it very much because you know how layouts, how you can create layouts in Drupal core, right? You can create layouts YAML, you can create module, you can create these layouts in sim, in module, a lot of places, right? Basically, it's pretty same situation. You need to use hook sim, and hook sim will be the name of your layout here. But base hook will be layout. It's pretty similar to suggestion. You are like extending layout something with your layout hook sim. And here you may use fields and settings. So this is properties which will be finally expanded to UI. So once again, you don't need layouts YAML for now. Yes, of course you can use it, but also you may create my container, I don't know, totally standalone component, just add CSS, tweak, and .sim YAML, and describe everything you want, and it will be, and you will get it in UI. So no big change with the core workflow. And finally, that's a custom hook sim. Okay, how usually you create a custom hook sim? You need a module, right? You need to prepare hook sim. You need to describe variables or render element. By the way, I'm pretty sure you all know that you cannot use render element and variables same time. In hook sim, it's not allowed by Drupal. See, you may use render element or variables. And basically here we solved this issue. So that's how you can create custom hook sim without writing a code, which means a great opportunity for your front-ender which just want to create something really, I don't know, something custom. Let's say map with the markers, but maps should come from front-end, and 95% of work will be on front-end side. It will be JavaScript only and so on. From back-end, you need to render just a placeholder, for example. That's what front-ender can say to you, and I will do the job, okay? For example. So you create my hook sim YAML and just define a name of your hook sim. And that's it. Here you can provide fields. So, and then in code you may use something like this. See? So let me explain you another point. Here is basically a basic element. Everyone use it, and every customer want to change the view of these checkboxes, radio buttons, etc. Right? To be like a pretty, beautiful. Okay. So, but this element have like a 5 levels of rendering. See, it has field set wrapped all element. It has same hook checkboxes. It's this one. Form element itself, input, every item is the input, and finally label. So we have 5 levels of rendering. And here you may, of course, yes, of course, you may integrate or interrupt process on any level. That's only up to you, what exactly do you want to change? Wrapper or specific element, which means in practice, in real life, usually if you want to change a view of some, for example, input element, you can use preprocess, right, or suggestion or something else. Now you don't need that, and your front-enders must be happy because they have a freedom and you allow them to do whatever they want inside their templates. See? Because you don't need preprocess anymore to integrate it. Okay, so that's for front-ender, it's cool, but still front-ender, when he comes to project, he should understand how at least same hook works, because if he doesn't understand, he will not be able to use it. And of course, important notice, that's from my friend front-ender, who just pushed me to use this slide, to not exclude this slide from presentation, because he said that you must be very careful with using all items. So you need to check original template before creating your own, because it's a common mistake of front-enders which are not so familiar with the Drupal. They create templates, but they forget about attributes, some content, some render elements, etc. See, and you cannot use it from Drupal, finally. So that's why you need to remember that when you are using some custom template, you need to really be careful and, I don't know, to use all variables, for example, which comes to this same hook. No, by the way, that's a cool example, I forgot. Core same hook pager has some variables which are, I don't know, yes, items, pages, ellipses, etc. Okay? So that's, I don't remember exactly what kind of variables, but that's example where we can extend this base hook and create some custom variable here. See? And this custom variable will exist finally, in render process. So basically, your hooks in pager will get subtitle variable, and that's your choice how to render it, or I don't know, from backend, whatever. Okay, a bit technical details. Maybe you have a question, or maybe you have a doubt. So what is it for, and why you should use it? You have a doubt, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think just what is it? It's like the whole process, like you said, the terminal doesn't overtake like what Drupal, it bypasses what Drupal do, and correctly, that it bypasses regular development process, and so basically, if you define something like as a component, then you lose the way of altering in any other way than you.
No, everything is kept. So all process is kept, and when you are using component connector, you still have a possibility to use all other preprocesses and other hooks. So if we play with a registry, and when registry is rendered, it asks Drupal contrib core modules if they have something to change, like altering, preprocess, etc. I don't have too much time, so I will be a bit faster. So that's an example of branding. Take a look. You need to change logos, logon, etc. On every project, your branding block is custom. Great thing that you may use base hook block and hook sim block system branding blocks. That's a suggestion. That's how you will register your custom hook, which will be based on hook block. So you need just to find twig in core, copy it in your sim, create YAML and CSS, and that's it. Hook sim substitution, that's I called it candidate, because of here. It's a big presentation. Yeah. Take a look. It's a sim manager from core. So that's how it searches for candidates. See? That's how you may create a standalone component for branding without any lines of code. So your front-ender can do that for you. You don't need to preprocess and change slogan on the fly like our company exists from, I don't know, from 100 years, okay? That's an example of layout. See, you only need like 3 files. That's pretty same what you have before when you are registering layouts. So you need to create YAML, twig, and finally CSS. And yes, everything will be expanded. You will have all these regions which you describe it in YAML. Settings, this key will be expanded here. See, so you will be able in UI, you will be able to provide some different variants, for example, and so on. Yeah, that's layout card, here is it. Yes, it works with layout builder as well. I just use it another screenshot because layout builder is a huge module. That's why I just use this one. Okay, and okay, here is a common situation when you need to create a button with an icon. So the question is how usually you do that. That's a question for you guys. Maybe you know it's just a fast solution when you may just create a component which will have a button HTML tag. Maybe you are not sure. Maybe it will be an input. It depends, by the way. There's a front-ender who should tell you what kind of HTML tag you should use in specific case. And also you need to put icon before or trailing icon or leading icon. You need to change color and everything should work everywhere. It must be a global change. For forms, for, I don't know, for everything else. For links as well, you know, when you just have a CTA, call to action button, it should look totally same, for example. So, How you can achieve it? You can create a custom hook, really custom hook theme. Okay, describe your fields, describe your settings like size, color, leading icon, trailing icon. Okay, prepare HTML, and then what we did, it's a really fast way from my point of view. You can just generate, Drush will generate a field type for you. You can call it text with icon item. See, you need only one schema change, which is icon, and maybe some, I don't know, some custom methods. So it means that this field type will appear on your UI, and your site builders, let's say you have developers and site builders which create an entity view mode, for example, and they can create a field on entity, paragraph, etc., never mind, and use this field type, and then you need a field formatter where it will be really, really simple. See, it's only 5 lines here. So you don't need to create a custom module with hook, theme, template, etc. You may do it with a component connector, creating like a 2 files only. Okay, you need CSS. Yes, right. It's not listed here, but still, I'm pretty sure you need it. And then using custom code. Yeah. Finally, we came up here. I will try to be transparent with you, okay? That's, once again, that's not a competitor for single directory components or UI patterns. And yes, we discussed it with the guy, with the maintainers of both projects. I discussed it personally, we talked a lot, and basically we agreed that we can collaborate somehow, maybe later. So, what is pros? Flexible theming. If you're front-ender, if you are front-ender and you have a knowledge how Drupal theme hook works, it will not be a real problem for you. If you don't know how theme hook works, you can spend 1 week, understand it, backend developer, so your team will help you to understand, and then front-ender can create anything he wants. Automatic library management. When you create component, all CSS files and JS files will be automatically registered as libraries and attached to this component automatically. So you don't need to care, you just create a CSS file and do the job, or JS file, and it will be attached automatically. Customization. From my point of view, it becomes easier, but at the same time, it may be a bit more hard. So once again, it's all about understanding. And best option for me, it's a native theming implementation, because everything you have described in YAML will be part of theme registry, of course, theme registry. See? Yeah, cons. It's a learning curve. Yes. It's not so easy to understand. If you don't understand it right now, well, once again, you need to go back and learn a bit theme registry, theme hooks, and all that stuff. Okay? Customization, maintenance, well, I don't know. Once again, if a new front-ender came to project, it will be like a blocking point, because you must not allow front-ender to do like a mess inside your theme. It's better to control that all components will be well organized, and everyone can understand. So if front-ender uses storybook, names of molecules, atoms must be at least close to Drupal something. Otherwise, you will be lost. You will never know that, I don't know, molecule card will be something in Drupal which is field formatter. This sounds bad. And potential performance impact. Yes, as I said, I want to be transparent. Performance impact can be huge. But it happens only once when you don't have cache. It's a cold start. So when Drupal starts, it must build theme registry for custom theme where you are using component connector. So, which means if you are opening site with a theme, active theme with component connector, it will be same time to build same registry. If you are flushed caches from admin theme, it will be twice more because two themes will be built. That's the only thing. Yeah, and a good point that front-end team may start anytime and implement any design methodology. So you are not blocked anymore. Front-ender should not wait before you will provide some entity structure, entity fields. It's not needed anymore. He can work on storybook, and then this storybook will be integrated in Drupal with YAML. I will be a bit faster. We have two generators from our front-ender. One will help you to generate new theme, and another can generate components. That's how it works. It's just you do something, enter theme name, you ask it if you need storybook. If yes, it generates. And that's it. And finally, you have a storybook. I'm not front-ender. I don't like front-end since the 90s. That's why I'm not fan of this. And another just will create your set of files like CSS, Twig.js, and Stories.js for storybook, etc. Okay? That's what we have in starter kit. We replace it. This starter kit, of course, available. We are using a lot of suggestions, a lot of themes. See, for every input we use it because for every forms, nobody is happy with regular Drupal forms which come from Classic, Laravel, from other theme. Any customer will not be happy. They want their own. And I have 5 minutes, so a bit statistics. Here is a first project we did with a component connector. It's a site of our company. I work for a company which is called Skilled. Here is a small logo. But that's a project which is called Plasma. That's what we had, which called design. It's really complex. We didn't have specification, complicated design. 27 paragraph types, 2 color schemas which can be switched in runtime. We need storybook, 100 components integrated in Drupal. Here is a percentage. With the component connector, we integrated 98%. And we have only few pre-process. And to be really fair, I don't remember what we were doing here, but it was needed for something. Okay? And finally, another stats. It took 7 days to complete. 2 developers, 1 backender and 1 frontender. We spent less than 100 hours. And here is the Stop Lighthouse reports, as you may see. And these reports come from front-ender. I did any efforts for that. See? Okay, here is the resources and your questions. We have like 5 minutes.
Thanks for the presentation. And in one of the slides, there was the subtitle variable mentioned.
Yes.
It was declared and used, printed, but it wasn't like, you didn't tell from where this value comes from. It's kind of interesting.
This one. So the idea here is that you are using base hook pager and extend with your field, with another variable. Yes, I don't know how you will pass this variable to this hook. That's my answer. You may do it through preprocess, you may do it in custom code, etc.
Okay. Yeah, that's my next question. You said that this kind of eliminates the need for pre-processing, and so where exactly, because I don't see any file here. Yeah, you said that this component collector, it kind of reduces the need for pre-processing, right? So where do you do the stuff that you do in pre-processing usually?
Yeah, okay, let me just show you an example. Okay, here is a good example. That's the same hook. See, to display such kind of button without component connector, you will need preprocesses at least, or template suggestion, etc. And that's more about to create your custom code, which will be a bit easier and can be started with a front-ender. So front-ender may ask you to create or even create these variables, icon variable, integrated in Storybook, show in Storybook, and then you decide to do it like a field, see? Like a field formatter, and pass custom variables. Anyway, if you need custom logic, there is no option to like automate it. There is no magic button for this custom option. You need to put this custom, not option, custom logic. You need to put this custom logic somewhere. See,
Okay.
even if pre-process.
That the front ender just declares the variables that they will need for rendering that, and then you come as a backender and just fill in the blanks. Right?
It's all about a communication. You may discuss together where it will come from. See, so it may be automatic. For example, icon may be really automatic because of some logic you will implement, or user want to choose icon. See. And there are a lot of cases when you need icons or some custom, really custom field extender with like you need a field with two options, one text value and icon, for example. Okay, let me show you here. I don't remember. No. Like this is a big icon. See, which can be, or this one, I don't remember, that's not images. Oh, here, that's icon, which you can choose from backend when creating a promo page. See. So it really depends. There is no solution, there is no magic button. It really depends from your needs and from project and from customer requirements. But yes, you may use preprocess, you may use custom code and so on.
Okay, thanks.
And I see it looks like something like React component, this list of components.
Well, it's not question for front-end, even
Because I'm full stack, that's why it looks like. And it means that we can use in Drupal something like quasi-decoupled structure. It means that it's more close to decoupled for now, because you can divide, as I understand, backend development and front-end development almost totally, like in decoupled projects.
You are not fully splitting it. You are trying to integrate them one to each other, but you are not solving that problem of chicken and egg, which should comes first. You may do it in parallel in your own, yes, exactly. On your side, you may, as I said here, front-end team may start and implement any design methodology. It doesn't mean that it's only about atomic design. If you are using React, for example, and Drupal as a headless, you have kind of folder, right? But this folder must be Drupal theme. That's the question. If it's full headless, then you don't need theme and you don't need this. Right? If it's fully headless. That's all about render.
Yes, it means, for example, we can use this system even for the decoupled process for Drupal admin.
Yes, because it will have impact on all I don't know, form elements, for example. You just need to put settings in this module have only one settings. You need to choose theme, which will store your components, and that's it, nothing more. So if you are talking about decoupled and using it together with React or some other solutions, that's a good question, because if you don't render with Drupal, you don't. If you are doing some rendering and then extending it with React, see, so if React or some other works.
I mean that it looks like React component, and you can create all components in them instead of creation it's in module or something like that.
Yeah.
That's why you can really divide the backend development and front-end development.
Yes, it can. Finally, it can start in parallel.
And as I understand, it's really fast.
Yes, because it's in core, because it goes to all this theme registry. and lives here. See? So finally all this job goes back here, extend, replace, etc., and lives in Drupal core theme registry.
And last question about performance.
Yeah.
What is the system, for example, in comparing in normal, we use standard Drupal way. It's more performance or not?
Okay, that's a normal Drupal way. Once again, we extend theme registry. So we don't, there is no processes which works after. Everything is done on Drupal registry build. One theme registry is built, it's stored in cache, and that's it. And it cannot be changed until you will flush cache. So component connector interact with theme registry when on build process. So it helps Drupal core to build theme registry, extend it with own hooks, etc., and finally put in cache. So if you are talking about performance, as I said before, it's only cold run. To build, it takes time to build registries. That's it.
Okay, second.
Thank you.
In your opinion, it will be difficult to build the unit testing or just functional testing for this component?
For now, we still writing tests, but we are not sure what kind of test we can use here. Once again, we can, you can basically use core testing. I even don't know how to answer for real. Once again, because of core render process is not changed, you may use your tools, you may use your tests, all type of tests against core.
Yeah, you give an example of a button that will replace creation of the render element, new element. So I didn't get that part, like how it will render element, I can replace render element and I can use as a like display mode and form. So
Once again,
so here you also give the example, it will replace the element. Like if you want to define a new element, instead of defining a new element, if we just define a component like here, it will, I don't need to define a new element that I can use for the on the display mode.
Not sure I get, but I will try. Okay, you, I guess here is an example of creating new element. Okay, it's not a new element, but it's a new hook theme. Basically, yeah, it's a new element to be used later somewhere in custom code. So we can split. You can create a totally new one because you are not satisfied what Drupals deliver. You are not satisfied with input. You need really custom input button. Just take a look. It has size, color, and at least 2 icons. And combination of these settings may be really, really huge. So you have like a lot of variants. That's one thing. And another thing, if you are talking about candidate, it's more like extending existing. So you need to choose. You want to, you have an existing component which needs to be changed a bit. Then you may use this candidate, okay, like adding, I don't know, classes, CSS, something else inside, for example, inside Twig, okay? Or automatically, for example, if you use this suggestion, you will get loaded automatically CSS, so you don't need to have preprocess to attach libraries, etc. So it's kind of choice, what kind of changes you want to do. If it's a small changes, and if it's possible to use hook theme candidate, just do that and do changes. Otherwise, if it's something more complex and, I don't know, just use your field types and field formatters or whatever. It's not only about fields.
So I got the second part when we just wanted to small change, but my question was like, if you wanted to replace a field formatter, or if you want to do, like, let's say a button, there is no predefined button, like you need a card. I want to define a new card component here, but there is no, how I can use in the like display mode?
In display mode, that's a good question. If you are first thing, that's field formatter. Another point, another thing is layout. The only layout is extended automatically to UI. All other components are not extended to UI at all. So you need to deal with the code only. That's why I told that you need to know how theme registry works, because only layout exposes it to UI. I guess we don't have time, or maybe any other questions I can ask personally, if you want. Okay, thank you. Sorry? Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure to talk with you.